Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard streams for another episode edition, tomato potato, of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. You can't have Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show without the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's poppin', girl?
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. Okay, I have a question for the people.
Okay.
We are going to be doing a stream on Halloween because Halloween falls on a Tuesday. Me and Pat were thinking about dressing up for the show. Pat already has like a pretty simple Halloween costume. I'm not going to say what it is, but like you'll be able to identify him.
You'll know who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's wrestling themed. So
I
I was like, do I do that? Because I found, and I'll just reveal who it is for me because I feel like I have to. Don't you feel like I have to?
It's either you reveal it now or you kind of just understand it based off of, I don't know, the fucking intro.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is I'm like, do I go all out and like get a wig? Like a black wig?
See, here's the thing. I really think you should.
I feel like that's the only way that it would look like I actually tried to put some effort into it, because I feel like if I'm just wear the shirt and chains or whatever, like you're not going to know who I am.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh my God, am I really going to go
why
on?
You're here.
But like, am I really going to go on camera with a hideous black wig?
It's Halloween, Sara.
I know, but like, oh my God, that's online
for
forever though. That's online forever.
Yeah. That's what happens with the internet. It's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm thinking about it because we found a shirt that's the thing that's like kind of like the shirt is not like cute or anything, but it's kind of cool because it's literally the same shirt. It's not the one I was looking for, but I'm like, I don't care. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to decide quickly though, because we're like less than 2 weeks to.
I know.
Or about 2 weeks from Halloween. So.
And I have a Halloween party at my friend's new apartment, and I'll be rocking that. I'm so excited.
My birthday's the day before, so I don't have plans. So.
Oh, your birthday's
on the 30th.
Yeah. Oh, we're turning the nice 2-1. Gonna have our first alcoholic beverage. We love that.
Yes. So anyway, yeah.
That's what's going on. What's going on? I honestly, you went into that, and I kind of forgot what. No.
Oh, we're just gonna talk all things wrestling because there's been so many things that have happened this week, from the Tuesday Night Wars to WrestleMania 39 plans to Tony Khan going on his latest binge on Twitter. It's just a lot. Vince McMahon being dragged. So there's a lot we want to talk about today.
There's a lot. There is a lot we got to talk about. I mean, John Cena said it best. We're in the golden age of professional wrestling. There has never been more access to watching not only WWE, but other promotions. And I love it in the sense because it's different styles. You're getting exposed to different types. I mean, you have WWE, which is obviously the top tier and, the pinnacle. And then you have AEW, which it's his own entity. It's not WWE, but it's very good. And honestly, features some of the best wrestlers in the world, hands down. Between Ospreay, Omega, I'll throw the young bucks in there. Will Ospreay is incredible.
Such a babe.
He's very good in the ring.
He's kind of good, I guess.
He's kind of all right.
He's all right.
Just beats Jericho, Kenny Omega, and who was the third one? Who was the third one that he beat in a month? Oh, Okada. Excuse me, Okada. Oh, he beat Okada. 3 of those guys in like 2 months. Unbelievable. So yeah, there's just a lot to talk about. I mean, the fact that I got to dual screen wrestling, live wrestling, I was legitimately like a little kid in the candy store. It was so awesome. Oh, it was so awesome. Enough bantering, Sarah. Let's just get into our main segment for the Thursday show. Where is it here?
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
Don't be a lemon, Sarah. Be a rosebud. It is our lemon and rosebud of the week, where Sarah and I talk about our favorite and least favorite things of the week of wrestling. And Sarah, you kick things off. I'm gonna let you kick things off here first. What was your favorite thing in wrestling this week?
I am gonna shock everybody by saying this, but it has to be Imperium beating up DIY.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, so I'm excited that DIY is back together, and we've talked about that happening hopefully for so long. So that is exciting. Like, nothing against them, obviously. Like, I've been sitting here thirsting over Ciampa the last couple weeks, so it's not like I have anything against them. But I am just excited that it looks like finally they might be having a direction for Imperium outside of Gunther, because Gunther is always doing something. And I feel like Imperium has kind of just been floating around doing nothing. And now this looks like, okay, they're going to finally be going against a tag team. And I don't know if it's going to lead to a tag team title championship run at some point, or a match or anything. I don't know. But I am hopeful that we're going to finally have them involved in something substantial, instead of, just being basically Gunther's lackeys, or Kaiser getting all the spotlight, with Vinci just kind of like off to the side, which is cool for Kaiser, obviously, but like, I like the group together. So I'm hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay.
This is the time to be optimistic about them.
I just find it hard to believe that they're going to let Imperium get too many wins over DIY, but
well, they'll have a series of matches, and hopefully it culminates in a pay-per-view. So
maybe Crown Jewel. It's right around the corner in a couple weeks.
So. It really is right around the corner.
Yeah. November 4th or something. I don't remember.
It's a lot closer than you think, really.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go with my rosebud of the week. It wasn't really anything that happened in the ring or on television, more of an announcement. I'm just so happy that they announced that War Games is coming back. It could have been, or it probably was not a shock to a lot of people, but you never know with WWE. It probably could just do 1 year, and it's like, all right, we'll go to this and we'll do that. And it's with the announcement that War Games is coming back, that indicates that it's going to be an annual thing. And if it's an annual thing for Survivor Series, it is the best possible thing you could possibly do for the product, because WrestleMania is WrestleMania. All right.
Yeah.
SummerSlam is that, nice transition into the next season. It serves its purpose, and the Royal Rumble has its own gimmick match, where Survivor Series' gimmick match was very just old school. It was out of touch, obsolete, boring in some ways.
Obsolete. I also think it got corny at one point when they kept doing Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. I feel like that era where they were wearing the t-shirts and whatever, it was so
it's over.
It was always the worst match, and it's supposed to be the headliner, because it's okay, here's the Survivor Series match, the whole reason why we have this show, and it was just never really that good. So I'm glad that they actually have something more to look forward to, because otherwise, at this point in the year, you're kind of just okay, when's Royal Rumble? We're close to Royal Rumble. And it's you don't want to have that feeling, you want to look forward to the Royal Rumble, but you want to be excited about what's coming before that.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to be hyped up for the Royal Rumble after Survivor Series, and Survivor Series with the traditional matches really doesn't hype you up. It more just it just you stay middle. You stay where you are. Mr. Anderson, yes, I think you might be the only person who misses it.
I mean, I get it from a nostalgia factor, but
like,
otherwise,
it's been done. You can only do so many and have it be different. It's like you got to add another element. You got to add a stipulation to it to put asses in seats.
and I think War Games is good right now. I don't think it's going to be something that should go on for like 20 years because I think, right now it kind of makes sense with one of the the men's War Games looking like Judgment Day versus like Cody J, whatever. But like even that feels a little bit forced. Like there wasn't just a normal, like organic team that the Judgment Day could go against. It was kind of like, let's shove these guys together because everyone loves them and they hate the Judgment Day. So let's do that. And it wasn't natural, like, with the Bloodline last year, like that made more sense to me. But I think longevity speaking, I don't know that that's going to be very easy to uphold for WWE every single year because it's going to be difficult to find a team of 5 guys versus 5 guys or 6 guys versus 6 guys every single year, that for something that makes sense anyway.
Yeah, it's finding that where it doesn't feel thrown together. It feels genuine.
Yeah,
authentic.
And I think that was the biggest thing that I always had with Survivor Series is that it was just randomly put together guys. It was like, these are our best guys on Raw and our best guys on SmackDown. It's like, that's great, but it was just like, they're not all guys that get along or something. Like it just, I don't know. There was like a missing element to it that I think I like the War Games aspect for that reason because it feels more meaningful.
Yeah, and it's with the brand. It was always about brand supremacy. Now it really doesn't feel like that. It feels like everyone's basically on the same team.
Well, and there's also no GM like rivalry.
Yeah, Adam Pearce is the guy.
He's
just the guy.
There's no basis for brands against each other, and I feel like you're kind of in an era where not that you're really competing with AEW per se, but you kind of are. And so you don't really want to have like internal fighting with your own brands, like that would go along when you don't really have anybody really competing with you. But now it's like, you don't want to do that because that gives them like a whole plethora of topics to like shit on you about.
Yeah, exactly. Could not agree more. Okay. Oh, I was like, where did that comment? Well, that makes a good point. Maybe incorporate NXT. I mean, after what we saw on Tuesday night, it feels that NXT is being elevated to more than just like a AAA minor league. It feels like it's its own standalone brand, or at least getting there. So
it's come so far from when we first started doing this show on YouTube because we were like, oh my God, NXT is so bad.
It was awful. I didn't even watch 2.0.
No, I couldn't either. And it was cringy because everyone was like, what is this 2.0? And like, what is this? Like, it was bad. And I guess that in a way, maybe we didn't give enough leniency to Shawn Michaels and like allowing him to grow and figure things out and determine like how he likes to do things, what he doesn't like to do, blah, blah, blah. Like we didn't really let the learning curve happen. So we were just coming from, okay, this is how we know and like NXT. And now you're trying to change it. And it's like, it's not good, but it's come such a long way. And it's like, it's not quite there, but I feel like it could get to a point where it rivals the black and gold era. But this era I would say is better because it's all homegrown WWE people as opposed to bringing in the top indie guys. And I'm not saying
no knock. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it's
no
like
knock.
This is actually like homegrown people that are going to eventually be the faces of the company. So it's like that to me gives them a little bit of an upper hand as opposed to just trying to get like the hottest indie wrestler on the show and just being able to say that you have them and the other company doesn't. I feel like this is better because there's literally like almost nobody in NXT right now that was like hot in the indies and is like in there now. It's like these are all really NXT born and bred people for the most part. I'm
gonna do a quick, because you said that sparked another rose in my head. Brian Pillman Jr.'s promo on NXT was incredible. I've watched it multiple times, and when I heard the news that he was going by Alexis King, I was like, oh, really?
I know,
like, we're gonna do this? But then they turned it,
the
and
meaning.
The meaning is like, okay,
I know,
I get it. I'm with it.
Yeah,
I'm bought in.
I know, and those are my initial thoughts too. I was like, oh my god, they're doing the typical WWE thing, like not allowing him to go with his name. It's like, I was like, okay, this is so stupid. Like what they did to Curtis Axel. Like we all know he talked about how he was Mr. Perfect's son, and they would talk about what his dad's name was, but for some reason that's not him. It was just weird. So I thought that's what they were doing. But then when I saw that it was based off of his sisters, and I was like, oh my god, okay,
yeah,
pulling on my heartstrings. And he has had like a traumatic life. So if he's gonna go full in on this and like kind of use that as part of his character, he's gonna be like nearly untouchable. Because like if you can pull into those like demons and that trauma and that like anything, and I don't mean that he has to, but I always feel like that type, the way that you can kind of like pull your real life into your character on screen, it usually makes you so much better overall because you come off so much more believable. People can relate to you. You bring emotion from people, whether it's happiness, sadness, mad, whatever. So I feel like if that is something that he does eventually, like watch out, because this could be like the next big thing in WWE if done right.
Yeah, I agree. Nope, not my lemon. I want to know what your lemon is.
I guess I would say, we talked about how it was good, and I'm not saying it's not, that there were so many women featured on Raw. And so that was cool. I think people said it was 16. And the thing that that's great. And obviously I'm excited about it, but I would really like to see Chelsea back in the ring. Like, why are we still not doing anything with the tag team titles? Like, why has it been like weeks of Chelsea and Piper having backstage segments, but they're not actually doing anything? Like, it just feels like, they had a really good thing going with Chelsea and Sonya, and obviously Sonya suffered like a terrible injury at the wrong time. But like then it became this whole thing of the dynamic between Chelsea and Piper, and then we haven't even seen it like more than, it was like what, once or twice since they've
it's joined. Starting, yeah.
So I just wish that we could see more of it. Like I hope that changes, because it just feels again like they're not prioritizing the women's division of the tag team titles. So I hope to see that change.
I really do too. I need to see Chelsea Green in the ring. Oh, she's so good. And you got to just put a camera in front of her and she'll be entertaining. You know, whatever you have her do, as long as the camera's rolling, the fans are going to be entertained.
And it's funny because she wasn't really ever given a really good shot in WWE before she was cut, like fired, released, whatever. But it feels like it's another example that you can add to the list of people who, it's almost like they came to WWE too early, because then they go off and do the indies and other promotions, whatever, and they come back and it's like, how the hell did they ever get rid of you? It's like with Drew, we say it with Drew McIntyre, we say it with Cody Rhodes. I feel like Chelsea is a prime example of that, because I mean, like, she's so good, and it's like, and she's different, and her gear is amazing, but like, she's so just naturally like magnetic, I guess, because she's so funny and witty, and like, I don't know, you want to watch what she's doing. And so it is one of those things that it's like, how did you get rid of her? But maybe it did work to her benefit, like it did those other people.
It did. I need to see more Chelsea Green on my screen.
Yes.
My lemon is all right. This I hate getting into these issues, but it's the only thing in wrestling I would say this week that really peeved me, and it's not about the storyline or whatever. It's just the whole element of it, from the storyline to the fans' reaction to the outrage and all that. But did you see the Juice Robinson thing?
Yeah. We're not digging too deep in this, are we?
Not too deep.
Okay.
I'm just all no. Sarah, I don't want to.
Okay. I was like, I don't really want to talk.
No, we're not going to. But it's the only. It sucks. Because he had a gimmick like that beforehand. And it was on, and then just bad timing. That's just all it is. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't want to go into it more. But that was the only thing that really just like upset me this week because of the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there wasn't crazy shit going on in the world, and it may have been a little better received, or it just I just didn't like it. And the fans' reaction too. It didn't. It's the only thing this week that really like irks me in wrestling.
I didn't even recognize him in the screenshot that was going around, but I don't pay attention to him. I just remember him from NXT days. So like that's why I don't remember. But I was like, who is this? Like, what is that really him?
Yeah, it just I just wanted to get that out because that really scrolling and seeing that and being in like as the wrestling fan, you're like, no, it's his gimmick, and that's like he does that, and then it's like, look what's going on in the world, and it's like, oh no. So that's where I'm gonna end it, and I had to get that out there because I have no one else to talk to about it with. So that was my lemon. We did your lemon, and I think this is a good little transition. What is going on? I think that's a good little segue into what the fuck is going on this week in wrestling. There's so much shit. I mean,
a lot of it came out today too. It's always a Thursday.
They just know, Sarah.
I know.
They know that we're going to record the champ of the peeps and the best of the West that you can't forget about are going to hop in the artist streams and talk wrestling, and they want to hear our thoughts. So they just give us news. And I'm not going to go into what happened today because we still have to talk about what the hell happened on Tuesday, right after we recorded the Raw Rewind, which, if you missed it, archives, Sarah's YouTube channel. Go check it out. We're in a war. Like, it's, and here's the thing. It feels one-sided.
Well, I mean, I'm going to add one more thing because I totally forgot. But yeah, I feel like it didn't hold up to the hype. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we were kind of expecting it to be a little bit closer in the war and not just like a complete blowout, because I don't know if you guys saw, but NXT got 900, was it 957 or something, like 957K or something like that. What?
So I'm just getting a call from a random number. And
I think that NXT got like 957K viewers and AEW did like 600,000, like a little over 600. And so like that was a complete domination. And I feel like I know that most of the people that I follow, and obviously I'm not a fan of AEW, so I don't watch it, but like I feel like throughout it, after like the shows both ended, and then in the days since, I couldn't even really tell you anything that happened on Dynamite because so many people were talking about what happened on NXT. So to me, that tells you everything, because it's like, if that's what people are mostly talking about and they're not talking about like, oh, well, this happened on Dynamite too. Why didn't you guys, why aren't you talking about that? It's like, to me, it's like, yeah, okay, so this wasn't really a war. Like this was just like a big brother and a little brother. And the little brother thinks that he did something, but he really didn't,
Yeah.
It's clear that he's bothered by it because, as we said, Tony is very upset, and his way of going about things is saying like, ha ha ha, you had all those people on NXT and you didn't even hit 1 million viewers. I'm like, this is not a hill you want to die on, sir. This is not. They stole viewers from you. You didn't even do the same numbers you did the week before when you weren't competing. So, and like, if you want to do that, the week before that, NXT on Tuesday did better numbers than Dynamite on Wednesday. So it's like and they didn't have John Cena, Undertaker, or LA Knight. Like, they didn't have any of those people on the week before, and they still did better than you. So it's like, don't shit on them for not hitting 1 million. Like, I don't even know the last time NXT hit 1 million. I would have to look, but like, bro.
I don't even think I don't think it's happened.
I honestly, yeah, I just meant like I can't say it did or it didn't because I don't know.
No, yeah, I don't.
But yeah, it was just I don't know. I was hoping for more, but I was really happy with NXT. I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah, it was a fantastic show, and I know a lot of people, especially in the IWC, are like, oh yeah, you had to get the Undertaker and Cena and all these people,
But
But here's the thing: they did that not to highlight those superstars and legends, but to give the rub, an endorsement. That's the word. Endorsement.
Yeah.
Of the future stars, because you need to do that in this stage of where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start endorsing the future of the company. The guys that 5 years down the line will be main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You need to start that track now. And if you don't do it, then you're kind of missing the boat a little bit, because they're becoming a star in front of your eyes. And if you don't treat them as such, then they're going to go to another rival company and then be treated as such.
Well, and I don't think people are looking at it from like a business perspective either, where like they knew by doing that, by having Cena, The Undertaker, Paul Heyman, LA Knight, like that was going to bring in people who don't normally watch NXT and aren't familiar with the roster or maybe not even anybody really, other than anybody that has been on Raw or SmackDown. So they knew, okay, well, if this person who only watches Raw and SmackDown is going to be watching NXT, well, we need to have Cena with Carmelo Hayes, because he's going to be one of the guys that's going to be coming up to the main roster soon. This introduces him to those people. Same thing with Braun Breaker or Paul Heyman with Ava Raine. Like that was an interesting twist for the bloodline. So if people didn't know that that's The Rock's daughter and that she does have, shared blood with the bloodline, like I feel like that was a good way to introduce those people to those wrestlers, and so it gets them excited. Maybe you'll bring them into watching NXT when Cena and Heyman, etc., aren't on. So it's like it made sense, but it also, I think, the idea that Tony was saying, like, you had to bring all those people on. WWE is in the midst of like doing the whole like season premiere thing that felt like a season finale.
Oh, it absolutely felt like a season finale. That's a very good way to put it.
It would have probably happened even if AEW wasn't there. Like, I really wouldn't be. I mean, maybe they wouldn't go all out to have The Undertaker or something, but I still feel like we would have gotten a similar feel, because we're supposed to believe that, SmackDown this week and Raw and whatever next week is supposed to be like the new season. That felt exactly what you expect from the last episode of a season. So yeah. I don't think it was that crazy.
No, it wasn't that crazy at all. And if you you need to if they want to legitimize NXT to be its own third major brand, you do need to have guys like that on the show, at least to start it off.
Yeah.
And legitimize it, for John Cena to be there, Cody Rhodes to be the special guest GM for the night. LA Knight, for God's sakes, that honestly was another rose. Like I was, the fact that he was special ref and he's just going, yeah, the crowd just like, and he's doing it in sync with them. It's little stuff like that separates WWE from everybody else, and that's what this show was supposed to do. And to be fair, it's business. You can't take business personal. They weren't doing it to be like F Tony Khan.
Should we just move into the Tony Khan thing too?
That's a great way to transition, because this motherfucker.
He's too. This is the thing. I forget who said it. I think it was Eric Bischoff spoke about Tony Khan, and people were kind of like coming for him because they were like, "You're not one to talk because you ran businesses into the ground." But it's also like, I get it, but they also have to remember how many years later is it? Like, he's learned a lot from his mistakes.
He also led in the ratings for 83
Yeah,
weeks.
and
Tony
I'm
Khan
like,
has
he beats
never led.
WWE. I think he knows what he's talking about to an extent. Like, let's not act like he's some, scrub that never did anything and is like hating on Tony.
Yeah.
But I think he made a good point about Tony, and it's saying that something that I've been saying for years is that Tony doesn't exactly know what he's doing all the time. And so that's why I think we see these instances of him going off on Twitter. You're talking to somebody who has 18 followers. Like, why are you taking what they're saying about AEW so personally to the point that you're spending hours on Twitter responding to them and sending them gifts? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And so I think, Eric was just saying that it's going to keep going this way until he does put people in place that can kind of like deal with this a little bit better and help him. And I feel like in instances like this where he's so upset and trying to point the fingers of like, oh, I'm gonna bring up the low-hanging fruit and talk about Vince McMahon and bring up his scandals, and I'm gonna bring up the fact that you had John Cena and The Undertaker and couldn't do $1 million. It's like he needs to remember that like you're like a CEO. You can't show your fandom as a CEO. Like, it's great that you care about wrestling, you grew up a fan or whatever, like you're this and that, but like when you're supposed to be a professional, you're supposed to be like the owner of a company that's doing all of these things. You can't be behaving like an internet wrestling fan online.
It really is. That's such a good way to put it. It's there's a different, like, if he wants to tweet out stuff and promote, I mean, look what Triple H is doing. Look what different people and even indie promotions are doing. Or if they want to be on Twitter but don't want to have their own personal name attached to it, they do it under the brand's Twitter and they interact that way. And it ends up being a win-win, because when you're interacting with them, then you have fans being like, oh, the actual account interacted with me. That's so cool. And they're thinking of it like that, not, oh, Tony Khan responded to me. And what the hell is this response? It seems very childish. And I like Tony Khan. I like the fact that he brought an alternative into the wrestling industry. You always need an alternative to the main product. I just don't like how he kind of, it just seems like he's butthurt and really taking it personal over the fact that NXT, like WWE can do this stuff. You're AEW. You've been around for 3 years, okay? Like, you have to know your place. And WWE's been around since before my parents were born. Okay, like it's they can do stuff like having the Undertaker come out to Kid Rock, which thank fucking God he came out to Kid Rock. I popped so hard for that. But and then you have John Cena come out and put over the talent and utilize these guys to legitimize your brand. You can't do that because the same guys you have on Dynamite, like Jericho or Kenny Omega or a Matt Hardy, they go on Rampage and they're just superstars on Rampage.
Well, and also, like you were saying, it's like you just have to know your place. You haven't been around long enough to have like legends of your own company that will draw the way that The Undertaker does, the way that John Cena does. And the ones that you do have are WWE famous. The reason why people care about Jericho, because he was a humongous dude in WWE. Like most of your top talent are former WWE. So it's like, and that's just the way it's going to work no matter what, because there hasn't been anyone around as long as WWE. So of course people are going to tune in to see The Undertaker. Of course they're going to want to watch NXT because John Cena's on it or Cody Rhodes. Like, there's a reason for that they're going to choose that over you just putting on a normal show and thinking title changes were enough to get people to want to watch your product over the other. Like, that doesn't, there's the nostalgia factor with WWE. It's like there's so many things and so many reasons why people prefer WWE or prefer to watch NXT on Tuesday over AEW. And instead of taking it as like a learning moment, for him to be like, okay, maybe we aren't as equal as I feel like we are in my mind, you know, because I feel like he really does think that he is better. He doubled down and said that they put out a better show on Tuesday than NXT. And I'm just like, you can feel that in your heart and soul, honey, all, you know, until the day that you die. But the numbers don't lie. And why don't you just take it as like a humbling experience and be like, I do believe in my company. I believe in the talent we have. I believe that we put out a good product every single week, but we don't have equal talent. We don't have the longevity. We don't have the history, the nostalgia. We don't have any of that, but take it as just like a lesson to how to make your company better, or maybe like, okay, hopefully we can get to that point where, you know, like take it for that. Don't stop making it so, like you said, personal and crying about it on Twitter, because then we're talking about you and there's everybody is talking about you and they're making fun of you.
Yeah, it's not talking in the sense that they're in support of you. Like I have there's some wrestling accounts that are AEW people, and they're like, dude, this isn't good. Like,
well, because it's
really
it's
bad.
actually like either deterring people who are already watching you from watching you more because you're the face of that company because you've made yourself that way. But also, do you think that behaving like this is actually making people want to watch your product? If anything, if they're online and they're seeing this shit, they don't even have to be on Twitter and following you. You can check the Twitter trends, check wrestling news. It's everywhere. It's not going to make anybody want to tune in next week.
No.
You know, like it them not want to even more. So I don't know what he thinks this is doing at all. I don't get it.
And the thing is, like, they didn't put out a bad show. They really didn't. I want to get that in the open, that AEW is not a bad show on Tuesday night. It was a very good show, great show, honestly, because I had both on. I mean, Christian Cage is one of the biggest stars, not only in AEW, but in wrestling right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you had him as the main character throughout the show. I mean, the whole Bullet Club Gold and Jay White MJF feud, how you're building that up was fantastic. And then Orange Cassidy finally regaining the title after it legitimately felt like that title being taken off him deflated him, and he just became a shell of himself, and now he has it back. It seems like he has that, a little bit more energized. So those things were good. Like, I liked all that. It's perfect. But when you put it up against WWE, you can't compare it. You have to kind of look at it through different lenses. If you look at it through the same lens, no, WWE blew him out of the water. It wasn't even close. Everyone's going to watch WWE. You have John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Undertaker, and an assortment of other talent that are established and, recognize themselves. And it's cross promotion where you have people on the SmackDown Raw viewers that are like, oh, I'm going to watch NXT this week because my favorite wrestler is on the show, and I may see someone that I like. Like, they didn't just they had the breakout tournament, the women's breakout tournament, Lola Vice. I've seen some Lola Vice videos. Granted, it's not for the wrestling; it's for her imitation of Shakira. But it's they put that in there because they're trying to show that we have these legends, but we're also doing stuff to enhance our younger and greener talent.
Well, and then another issue that I saw is like AEW was focused way too much on what what NXT was doing, because people were showing like they purposely also went over the 2 hours.
Oh, AEW or NXT?
Yes.
AEW went they both did, but
but
really went over.
AEW, you can see when the referee notified them that NXT went off air. You can see when that happens in the match.
Oh, really?
So it was like they had it in their ear, or somebody was watching it to tell them, and it's like you can see that happening. And so I'm like, just put on a good show. Who the fuck cares if they went 10 minutes over because they had Undertaker and Carmelo and Braun Breaker out doing something? Like, if you did a good enough show that you felt confident in, then you wouldn't feel like you needed to go over. You wouldn't have felt like you needed to have a match 30 minutes before the show, and you wouldn't have to do all of these extra things or have someone in the back watching, to like, it's just like, and that's the thing. It's like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because I'm sure, WCW and Monday Night Raw, whatever, they were probably doing the same thing. But like, don't make it obvious. Don't let it be known, like just take it as like I said, like a learning moment. Use it as like a measuring stick to be like, okay, where are we at compared to them? This is their developmental brand, and the fact that we didn't do that as well as them is like, okay, what does that mean about you? How can you get better? Like, take it for that. Just like, and that's like, it just, I don't know, it just kind of discredits Tony. I feel like it's like, this is like his first baby, like his first company that he's had on his own, where it's like his money or some of daddy's money and whatever. And so it's like an ego hit when it doesn't perform up to what he thinks it should be. And he just cares too much about what WWE is doing, but they like to believe that WWE cares what they're doing. Honey, they're not having breakdowns on Twitter about getting blown out by 300,000 viewers. That's not happening.
It's sad. I mean, it's a good way to put, like, I forgot my train of thought, but pretty much let's just look at the Eric Bischoff example of when they spoiled, quote unquote, the Mankind title win. They shot themselves in the foot, because once they said that, everyone's like, are they serious? They're really going to put the title on Mick Foley?
You don't think people are going to go watch? Yeah.
I got to see this. So when it's a learning experience in all fronts, in the real world and in wrestling too, that a life lesson we can teach the peeps here, that when you concern yourself with the competition, you don't get better, you get worse.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused on you. You can know what NXT's doing, but don't let it dictate how you run your show.
Well, I think that's kind of like how, I mean, I'm not a good person with this, but it's like when they say that about like, don't care what people think about you, because then you're overthinking things and you're too concerned about what if I look stupid, or what if I'm not smart enough, or what about this? And it's because you're so concerned about what other people's opinions are of you that you actually do worse. It's the same situation, it's just on a grander scale because there's millions, billions of dollars involved. But yeah, this is just not a good look for Tony.
It really isn't.
Not a good look. Take the loss and just deal with it.
Yeah, I lose all the time. And then I also win. Life's a balance. Yin and yang. Just like own up to it. Get better. And the thing is, it's not like they have a shit product. They have a very good product. They have a very good promotion, especially one that's been around for 3 years and you're already reaching this level of superstardom. He probably butthurt. And this is where I feel the ego coming in, that they had the Wembley show. Crushed it. You have Wrestle Dream. Crushed it. And they really are crushing it on the live attendance for the big shows. Keep my big shows.
Yeah, I was gonna say not Collision.
That's
an empty arena.
That's barely a show.
Yeah.
And when he sees that, he believes that because those numbers are in-house, they're live, it should translate over to TV. When that's just not how life works. You're going to get 90,000 there because it's the situation. Of course, people are going to want to see it live and you're going to stack many people, but
and overseas, when you never go overseas, you don't think that you're going to, I mean, that's going to happen. Even when WWE was the shittiest product, like 10 years ago, where it was just like, oh my God, this is so bad. They were selling out overseas like every single night because they don't get to see it. So that can't be a measuring stick.
That really can't. It's just, I would like to see this war continue in a way. And it obviously still is. We're only in, the first couple of battles, if we want to compare it. But
there's still, I mean, depending on how the rest of like hockey goes and stuff, we might see AEW on Tuesdays again, but I think otherwise they're staying.
Nah, it would be Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
Hockey's on TNT.
Oh, okay.
And then Dynamite is on TBS. Only reason I know that by heart is because when I throw on Dynamite, I see the last 3 to 5 minutes of Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah.
Still better than Young Sheldon. So, all right, let's get some comments here. We have a lot of comments here. Thank you to all the peeps here. Giving us comments. We really appreciate it and love your interaction. While Richard is really firing out, up here. David's giving you some love, Sarah. Let's go here. Where nookie. Damn right. I'm feeding off of the nookie. Come on, the nookie. So you can take that cookie and shove it up your ear. All right. Tony Khan probably couldn't even be Impact Wrestling. Okay. Kind of a sidebar, and I'm gonna get to more comments, but I saw someone say like Impact Wrestling fans are the most chill fans.
They don't give a fuck, dude. They just watch their shit and that's it. You don't hear about them.
But isn't it the best?
That has to be like the best part of wrestling internet experience.
It's good. It's pretty damn good wrestling.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Anderson has a point to an extent, because even though Impact isn't like as hot as it was, 10, 15 years ago, they've been around a lot longer than AEW, and they have legends of their own. So they could stack the card with TNA legends, and people probably would tune into that. I don't know that it would do the same numbers that NXT versus Dynamite did, but they have legends that they could stack on their card and probably pull in more people too. And that's just because of the how long they've been a company. And that's the thing that Tony just needs to embrace. Like, you're a newer company, get over it.
They had 1,000 episodes of Impact.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching Impact on Spike TV. It was awesome. NXT has been kicking ever since they brought Judgment Day to NXT in the summer, and that definitely helps for sure.
Dominic's matches have been some of the biggest pulls for viewership. Actually, I think it was like last week his match with Trick Williams, I think, was like the highest viewed like point of the show. So, and it's not the first time. It's been a couple times. So, I mean, yeah, that was a good move because Dominic's so hated.
He's one of the best heels in wrestling right now. Tony Khan's comments came off as salty and very corny.
Yeah. Well, because also, you don't want your competition to see you sweat. You just dripped buckets of sweat on the internet for everybody to see. And even if you go back and delete them, screenshots live forever. So imagine the good old chuckle that HBK and Triple H are getting, seeing all that shit happen. Even if they even know, someone might have told them about it, but they're not paying attention. They don't give a fuck.
That's the thing. That is great. They probably heard it from someone in the offices. They're not like rolling Twitter.
No, because they don't care, and it's like, and then you're sitting up here on Twitter at, all hours of the night tweeting about Vince McMahon this and NXT that. And it's like, bro, this is sad. Like, just
it's not
put
good.
your tail between your legs and just like go in the corner. Like, just stay off the internet for a while.
This is a great comment. AEW Collision is like the WWE version of Saturday Night Velocity. I loved Velocity.
Velocity had crowds though. I mean,
Velocity. I remember. I have a vivid memory actually of watching Velocity at my grandparents' house.
Yeah,
and it was my grandmother's room, and it was just me in there, and I was watching on those TVs with the big back.
Yeah,
that once you turn
TVs,
the box TV, once you turn it off, it gets hot.
Yeah,
and I would watch Velocity late at night because you're staying at grandma's house. There are no rules at grandma's house.
Yeah,
and I loved watching it because you got these just random dudes. And that was my favorite part of wrestling, is that you have the big stars and you're the big fan, that you're your favorites and whatnot. But you get guys like Sean O'Hare.
Yeah.
Gregory Helms before he was the Hurricane, or after it, depending on what year.
Mm-hmm.
John Cena in the tights.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Noble.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like
trailer trash Jamie Noble.
Trailer trash Jamie Noble. Nydia?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! When she was remember she was blind.
Yes.
That angle was ridiculous. He came over with a fucking cane. It was like costing him matches. Oh my god. WWE was just ruthless back in the day. Oh, I miss those days. Yeah, and then from one crazy owner of a promotion to another, but old.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. Thank God you updated me on this, because me swimming with the fishes and all. Apparently it was said today by, I would say, Ari
Emanuel. I think
Ari Emanuel spoke today in an interview saying how Vince McMahon is, I don't want to say main reason, but we'll say main reason.
He kind of said that though.
That Endeavor's stock went down. and that Triple H is now in full control of creative, and that Vince is only hurt the deal more than helped it, which is ironic because the whole reason that they got bought by Endeavor was because it was noted that Vince was the spearhead behind it. It's just,
but see, this is the thing, because I've seen people say this too. I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or what you would call it, but people are thinking not necessarily that, Nick Khan or Triple H or anything had like behind the scenes conversations with the Endeavor people, but they feel like that they knew this was going to happen, that, the stock was going to fall and that people were not going to be on board because of Vince McMahon. They felt like they knew that, and that this was going to be their way to get Vince to get out. So even though Vince did it because he wanted to get more power back, they were doing it because they knew, even though, at the beginning he might hurt us, this will be the basis of how we can get him out, because he's a business guy. He's going to understand this more than ever, that you can't be having some person around that is impacting your business to a point of losing millions of dollars or whatever. So once, I think he's on the board or whatever, but they can all vote him out. So after like a certain amount of time, they can kick him out. And so at first, when I heard about that, I was kind of like, I feel like this might be wishful thinking. But based off of what we've seen, and now Ari talking about it, it feels like maybe this was a hidden motive, because you can take the loss at the beginning as long as you know that like the longevity of the partnership is going to, you'll reap the benefits of that. So that feels a little more plausible to me.
And it just doesn't make sense to have Vince go back into that role with how elevated the product has been. I have not been.
He said that the product was bad and that's why he wanted to come back. Did you see that? He was trying to pull that bullshit.
Yeah, that's called delusion.
I know. I was like, you're just mad, baby, because you're mad that it's doing better than what you did. Aww. It's
so like, I don't want to come off as this sounding like I'm complaining, but I'm just trying to make a point. I could be pissed that I have to stay in on Friday nights to, I can't like go out and then wake up early for work or whatever. I love that I have a excuse to everyone that I have to stay in. Oh, I have work, but also wrestling's on, so it makes it through. And if Vince was in charge, it would, I don't want to say painful, but it would be a chore. If a chore is a good way to put it. Where now with Triple H, Nick Khan, all the new people in charge, I'm excited every Friday. Like a perfect example, I am going on the golf trip this weekend with the boys. I'm gonna miss SmackDown. I'm waking up before our round and watching it the next day because I need to know what's happening. Like Roman Reigns coming back. This, that, and the other thing's happening. Triple H is making an announcement. Like, I need to know these things. I want to know. Not even need. I want to know these things.
Yeah.
Where I could just like, I'll check Twitter. I'm good. But I want to watch it. I want to experience it. Before with Vince in charge, you knew it was going to happen. You could kind of just think of the script in your head. So you don't have to. You just scroll Twitter, you're updated, boom, you're done. But I want to know.
Yeah.
The whole element. I want to know how Triple H delivered that announcement. I want to know what Roman said specifically and how he said it to Jimmy when he addresses the bloodline. With Vince in charge, I don't care because it's not going to be done well. It's going to be very old school and stiff and just not genuine or authentic.
Yeah. No, and I think that, because people kind of take this type of conversation about Vince as like not being grateful for what Vince did, obviously, as a wrestling fan, like that we're shitting on him for that. And it's like, that's not what we're doing. But we're also saying like, you're getting too old to be doing what you're doing. And we've seen an example of what you would do, which the latest one that we know hands down was a Vince show, was the Raw After Mania. And that is a show that like everybody looks forward to every single year. Even if you're someone who can't watch Mania, you look forward to the Raw after Mania. And that was an absolute shit show. So if that is our example of the type of stuff that we could be seeing from him at this point in his life and his career, nobody wants that. So it's like, it's not saying, obviously we're grateful because he's made WWE what it is today. He's made us the fans that we are today, but you're not in your prime anymore. This is like not like your bread and butter anymore. You're not able to do the same stuff that you used to do now. It doesn't work. It's not what the fans today want to see. And you kind of just need to be able to accept that and move on. Like, why don't you want to retire? I understand that you've been around this like literally your entire life, but like you still don't want to retire. Like you were you groomed your children to take over the company, then you took it from them, and now you don't want to allow your son-in-law to do it. Like, it's just messy and just dumb, really. Like
it really is just so dumb, and I don't get it. I from a personal standpoint, you have grandkids, you have a family, whatnot. You probably have other investments, and you have a shit ton of money that you can just sit on, invest it wisely, and live out the rest of your life and do the stuff that you couldn't do because you were running a multi-million, potential billion-dollar company. Why wouldn't you go do that? It just makes no sense to me in that regard.
And I wanted to bring this up too because Ari mentioned this in his interview as well.
I'll change
that they were open to possibly moving Raw to a different day of the week. And the response from the fans, I'm like, I really hope that you have someone who pays attention to social media, because no, we don't care if their agreement with USA is up at some point. Okay, we don't care. It doesn't have to be on USA, but Monday Night Raw, that's literally the show name. Like, it's not that's not change. You can't change that. That's not changeable. Like, it shouldn't be a possibility. And I really hope that if that is something that ends up coming up in conversation, that Triple H or Nick Khan, somebody has some sort of pull enough that they can shut it down and be like, absolutely not.
You can't do it.
No,
I mean, you can't do it.
I mean, SmackDown has always bounced from Thursday and Friday. It's always been that.
And then because it was taped on Tuesday. It's never had a set day.
Yeah, and so it's like, for that, it's kind of like, okay, Thursday night SmackDown, Friday night SmackDown, whatever. Like, people are fine with that, but it's like Raw has always been on Monday, so keep it on Monday. Like, I don't know if it's just maybe because of the recent issues that they've had because of Monday Night Football, but I'm like, Monday Night Football has been a thing for so long that if it's now an issue for you, then I don't get it.
They were outperforming Monday Night Raw in the heyday, and now with this era that we're in and how many screens people have in their house, how many different ways to watch, the fact that, I missed Raw on Monday, well, I'm gonna watch on Tuesday afternoon when I get home from work, or whatnot. Like, it's not as big of an issue as it could have been when you first even done it, even in the late 90s. Like, say if the late 90s or early 2000s they moved it, you're upset, but like, all right, it's only been around for like a couple years, they're probably just workshopping things, whatever. But you've established that it's Monday Night Raw. It's not Raw. That's that's, I think, something that people, or at least the higher up people, are missing. You don't call it WWE Raw. No one calls it Raw.
The only reason it's
Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, it's only called WWE Raw on Twitter because it's Monday Night Raw is too long. You know, like, that's the only reason. But like, SmackDown is SmackDown. It's always been Monday Night Raw. Even when they go out there and they have the babyface pander to being like, welcome to, and it's always Monday Night Raw. It's not welcome to Raw. Like, that's what it is. Other than like the Raw is War era, but even then it was like,
we didn't call it Raw is War though.
No, I know, but I'm saying like that. It wasn't necessarily referred to all the time as Monday Night Raw. But like, you can't, like, Thursday Night Raw, Wednesday Night Raw. No, ew.
Question.
Yeah.
Them moving the show, wouldn't that show a sign of caring about the other product?
In what way?
Like you move it to Wednesday night.
Oh, if they did that. But I mean, I guess, but I feel like in a way that doesn't make any sense business wise, in my
That's
opinion.
what you agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
So that's why I feel like I don't think they would do that, because I feel like you're screwing yourself over potentially there, trying to split an audience. I mean, granted, I do think Raw would win. It's a 3-hour show, and obviously it has a built-in loyal fan base, so I don't think that they would really lose anything to AEW, but I feel like you would kind of screw yourself over with your own fan base who grew up and have become accustomed to Raw being on Monday, you know?
Yeah. I just, what night would they even have it? Like, we're like, if when you heard this,
Yeah.
and we all know, you and I both had our thoughts spinning. Like, what night do you put it? Because that has to be the first question. You can't just be like, oh, we want to move at night. It's like, oh, what day are you thinking?
Well, it's like you can't do Tuesday because NXT's on Tuesday, so that basically leaves you with Wednesday and Thursday. And it's like, okay, so Thursday would make more sense because there's nothing else there. But then it's also like, okay, during NFL season, there's Thursday night football. There's other sports that are on Thursdays too. Like, there's not really a day of the week that really makes any sense, because you would assume it's not the weekend, because that interferes with Sunday football, that interferes with Saturday pay-per-views. So it essentially leaves Wednesday if you're trying to really ramp up this alleged war, or Thursday because that's the only other day. Like, to me, it just,
exactly.
I would like to believe that this was more of just a part of conversation with them, and maybe it was because there are going to be people who want to buy WWE like the rights to Raw, that if he like said with confidence that they are only staying on Monday, that would deter some of those people, and maybe that's why he did it. I would like to believe that's the case, and not because they actually are talking about moving it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to this one. We're going long. I don't even care.
I need it. We're not doing SmackDown breakdown.
Hence that was yeah. I don't mind. I love talking about it. Yes, my vest is clean.
Oh, so Karrion Kross was interviewed. It was Chris Van Vliet, I think, and he revealed what?
My guy. I fucking love Chris Van Vliet.
He follows me. He revealed that for WrestleMania 39, there were tentative plans for him to go against Bray Wyatt, that Scarlett was going to be involved, that Bo Dallas was going to be involved, Alexa Bliss was going to be involved, and he alleged, and I'm saying alleged because this is just him talking, we don't know for sure, obviously, that him and Bray had like long conversations about this, like on multiple occasions, about like what they wanted to do, how they wanted this to look, what they wanted to get across. And I'm really, I'm not like this humongous like Karrion Kross fan, but like we had been talking about this for like months leading up to this, about like, okay, when Bray comes back, it was all before October when he came back. It was months before that. We were talking about like, okay, the Wyatt Six, who's it going to be? And it was like Kross, Scarlett, Alexa. We talked about Dexter. We were like putting these pieces together, and so it's really like, it's almost like heartbreaking to hear that we almost could have gotten it. You know,
it's sad. It's so sad because look, my creative juices are flowing. Where I start thinking about how would they incorporate it? Would they be fighting against each other? Would they be teaming up against a Bobby Lashley? Would they be teaming up against just another random group? You know, that's where my mind goes.
Well, and it could have been like maybe Bray and Bobby were still gonna have that moment at Mania, because that's what we saw. So this, to me, I was like, how would that fit in? Because that was what they looked like they were going to do for Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And if that were the plan, then I wonder if like they were going to be revealed as the Wyatt Six. So like maybe it was going to be, Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley, but at the end or in the match, they all like come out to like defend him, you know, and then it's like, oh shit, like look at all, you know, it's like the characters to life or whatever. Like, I feel like that would have been cool too, because then it wasn't like, that would make more sense given what we saw, you know, because obviously it wasn't a mistake for us to see the beginnings of Lashley versus Bray. So it would have been cool to see how it would have come to fruition, because we had been looking forward to that, and especially it's like, it's sad when you think about it being with Bo too.
I know, it's so sad. It's just
it still doesn't feel real to me that Bray is gone. And you know what? And I'm not trying to say it's equivalent, but it's like when my grandfather passed away in 2010, like sometimes I still forget that he's not around, and that is because we lived in Washington at the time and he was still in Massachusetts, and so I didn't see him that much. So like in my mind, I'm like always thinking like, oh no, he's there, he just doesn't like to talk on the phone, you know, like, and I don't like to talk on the phone either. So it's like that's something, a way that I cope with it, and it almost makes him feel alive still. And I feel like with Bray, because he was gone for months before he passed, it kind of just is like, oh no, he's still around, he's just injured or he's sick, you know, like you weren't really able to get out of that mentality because he didn't come back before this happened. And so it's almost like a blessing in a way for the fans, because then you didn't get excited or more invested into him prior, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, it's I would equivocate it to like Eddie Guerrero. Like, you know, where just in the moment, gone too soon, and, you know, getting a push in a way. It's just, especially with how talented he was, not only Bray Wyatt, but Wyndham the person, you know, hearing the stories now from wrestlers backstage. It's just, you know, it's very sad. And it really doesn't feel real at all.
It sucks when you lose like a good person on top of like a great talent, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it can be someone who's really good at what they do, but they're just a shitty person outside of that. It's just like a double, you know, hit when it's someone who's like so loved, because that's also not easy to find in somebody who like nobody can say a bad thing about them because they're that universally liked. And it feels like all the stuff that was coming out about Bray and what people were saying about him, it wasn't because he passed that they felt like they needed to say nice things. It was just like everybody, like even people you were like, wait, he talked to you? Like you guys were friends? Like those types of people were even coming out and being like, he was this and he was that and he was whatever. Like that just truly shows you like they were really blessed to have him, and we were lucky to be able to watch him for as long as we did.
Very much so. It's just sad. All right, next up, you brought this to my attention today, and I didn't really think anything of it, to be honest with you, when it happened. Maybe because I just wasn't observant. But Bully Ray said today on Busted Open that he did not appreciate Seth's no-selling of Nakamura beating him down and, you know, beating him up throughout their feud and then culminating at the pay-per-view. And he came back and he's jumping and all that. And he said that he should have sold a little more, you know, maybe have like I don't want to say a cast, or maybe like a something.
He said like a limp or
like something. A limp is a good, like a limp, or, you know, some way to show that he is beaten down. But, and I didn't think of it till you really brought it to my attention, but he makes a good point, because even when you were, you know, back when Triple H and all those guys were champions in the earliest, that Raw era of like 04, 05, whatnot, you know, they would come and cut a promo and they had bandages on.
Sometimes Cody just was doing it. He had a fake broken arm for weeks.
You had a fake cast.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
Yeah, he had a sling and everything. Yeah.
He went to Brandy. He went to a bachelor, like some party outside WWE. Lived the gimmick, and
I know.
Had the like.
I think he did at his like documentary premiere too. I think his arm was in a sling. Like, yeah, it was like he was really selling it.
That's a true star right there.
So I agree with Bully too. And normally, if this were just like, okay, this was a one-time match, then I maybe would have just been like, all right, whatever, But I think the reason why he took an issue with it, as much as he did, is because Seth's back was like the premise of so much of their feud, and it was so harped on that it's unlikely that then he would be able to walk normally after a last man standing match, especially when he's now in the ring talking about how his back is broken more than ever, and he didn't know if he was going to be able to do this or do that and blah blah blah. And then you're standing there, you're throwing dudes over to the top rope, you're like looking completely fine. But before this, in the weeks leading up to this match, you were talking about how Nakamura put you in a wheelchair, that Becky had to wheel you out, and all this, and you put tape on your back to even sell it. It's like, yeah, this is just something that I think that kind of why I have a worry about what they're doing with Nakamura, because it kind of doesn't doesn't sell the fact that he beat the shit out of Seth even though he lost, It looks like, oh yeah, okay, that was he brought everything to Seth, and Seth still walked out. Like, what? The last man standing match shouldn't go like that. They both should have even been like, hobbling or something.
A Falcon's arrow through a table also should not have ended
on the concrete. Yeah.
And Seth fell on the concrete from the railing.
Well, yeah, we're supposed to believe that too, and he's still just like, I'm good. Yeah, I've never felt better. Like,
feeling good.
Yeah, so to me, I love Seth, but I feel like this just is very much of like, oh, we love Seth. Seth's the number one guy. He can do whatever he wants. Like, whatever. That's just kind of what it feels like, because you should have sold it a little bit better. Even if Nakamura didn't sell it himself, Seth, you could have acted a little bit more hurt instead of like a spring daisy. Like, what are we doing?
And then gets beat up by Damian Priest and
for 2 seconds,
and then jumps right back up. Superman strength, Super Rollins. I have to. Mr. Anderson does, but I've been looking at this comment for a little bit, and I just wanted to share it with you. The Monday Night Rollins sounds better than Raw is Rollins. I don't know. I
like both, but I think I like Monday Night Rollins better, because when I think of Raw is, I think Raw is Jericho. That's what I think of, and I feel like you don't want to compete with that. I mean, that was his fucking WWE debut. Like,
welcome to Raw is Jericho.
And I'm not even like a Jericho fan, but like, that's an iconic moment.
You're not a Jericho-holic?
No, I never was. I was a fan of another Chris.
I am now. Chris Jericho, that's someone that I have really turned a full 180 on. And in the sense that I didn't really care about him. I was like, oh, it's Chris Jericho. He's just like, he's there.
Mm-hmm.
But when you realize that the longevity that he's had and how he's evolved himself over the years and how he's still doing it, and honestly doing it on a high level at this stage in the game, minus a few kinks here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta, he's up there for me as one of the GOATs in wrestling for sure. And the fact that anyone that has a theme song that the crowd sings along to, I mean, there's only a few people.
Well, and it's your own song
that you made. I remember watching that music video for the first time, and not just like it was like the one with them in the camera and they're doing like the close fishbowl. That was fucking awesome. And he was in WWE during it. I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know. All right, it's time for the 1, 2, 3 count. Ding, ding, ding. Sarah, you took my first fall here with the Monday night Raw.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it was 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even notice. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice.
It's fine. We pivoted. We moved on because I wasn't gonna do it, but there's no SmackDown breakdown, so we're gonna go a little long today. 2, we've been talking about the NWF, and it's just everyone's like, what the fuck is it? Like, what are you talking about? What is this? I have cut highlights. I'm not gonna show them all, but I want to show at least like one. All right, of a little taste of what you can get, because we got a pay-per-view going. It's just we're busy. Okay, you got you're firing your muskets over there talking about the Patriots. I got my Gazette I gotta be worried about,
Yeah, I
along
got
with the
35 this month already.
like
I
you're
know.
cranking out stuff, and I want to make this pay-per-view really good.
I want to be involved also, so
That's the point. That's another
Yeah.
thing. As I want to have you on commentary with me.
well, I also
doing
want to
it.
help pick my matches.
It's your show. You're Raw. I don't want to pick your matches if that's your thing, and we got to include stuff. So it's in the works, and help us out if you have ideas for it, please. This is the Peeps show. Like, this is why we do it. So I have an idea where I am going to. Okay, let me count here how many highlights I have. So NW Kaiser versus. Okay, so no. All right. Do we want real or nonsense? Oh no, we already saw these. The shenanigans. Do we see these? The shenanigans, the Hell in a Cell, and yeah, we did. All right, so I'm gonna show this. All right. I'm trying to see what highlight I want to show, because we have a lot here that I could. Yeah, let's show my guy. Fuck it. Let's show my guy. Let's show my character. All right. And this is the highlight we'll do. With my character, Nonsense. All right. He was the champion of the NWA. And
then he lost to Squirtle, right? Did he lose to Squirtle?
That was a different match there.
Oh, but he still lost to Squirtle.
So he's on a 2 match losing streak.
Oh,
all
wait,
right.
look it. I forgot to show you. Look at my new
let me
shelves.
Let me remove it. Hey, there we go.
See, and there's Squirtle there. See,
my arch nemesis right now.
Yeah,
that dude kicked I was so mad. I was so mad when I lost to Squirtle. But we have my guy, Nonsense. It's my character. Sarah will get your character in there as well. We got to just find out when she'll make her debut. But we have Nonsense versus Joe Man. He's not Yo Man, he's Joe Man. And look at him. Look at how he's the 2K champion. There was a double title match on the line. Mr. Joe Man, we got to work on the entrances, and we got to work on entrances. I need pyro. Like, we need pyro. I don't know why we don't. I try to work on some entrances. I actually did. I worked on some entrances for a few people. But okay,
I'm just confused why he's wearing like a button up.
Because he's Joe Man.
And a watch.
He's Joe Man. He's got to look styling and profiling when he's
what?
Yo, all right.
I thought he went through the rope and started doing that.
See,
I was like,
this is where we need pyro. Right here is Pyro City. All right. I don't know why we don't have it. And then this is my guy, Nonsense. And for any Marvel people, it kind of looks like Daredevil there. All right. We don't need to see his entrance. Pretty bland. So it's for the NWA title. All right. So Joe Man kind of kicked my ass. I'm not gonna lie. Like, look at him. He's just kicking my ass, dude. And we projected Nonsense to be a star. Like, look at that, dude. Oh yeah.
That was
what the hell? I try to be fancy and do a cool move, and then Joe Man just whacked me with a kendo stick.
But I mean, he did that spin move, flip thing, and that is something that would happen in real life. Because I don't know about you, but we've seen a lot of those like suicide dives or like moonsaults outside the ring. They were not hitting.
No,
they missed.
They were not.
That's happened recently. It's been happening.
We got a little Panama flip on the concrete. That was on concrete. There's no mattress there. So he did that right on count. It is a false count.
Oh, okay.
Extreme rules here. And then look at this move by Joe Man. Like,
dang,
what a move by Joe Man. And then he goes for the cover. I'm freaking out because I think I'm going to lose. Kicks out. All right, we kick out. But then we get the instant recovery. We're back, and we hit him with a rolling clothesline. So we're good. We're and then a kick. Good. We're doing well. All right.
Is this a lady ref too?
It is a lady ref. We're really diverse here.
Love that.
Everyone's included here. And Nonsense is just like, I need more weapons. All right. I need more weapons. And then boom, right over the head. We got no rules here. You can hit in the head, you can hit in the leg, you can hit in the back. But you're just going at him with a chair. I had to really get aggression here. And then Joe Man just said, you know what? I'm no selling this. I'm just throwing you back in the ring.
Yeah. F you.
So this was just like, so it's a 3-star match. Great job by Meltzer. He really just appreciates wrestling. You got to love it. So Joe Man goes this. It's just, this match was brutal. All right. I could not get any offense going. Anytime I tried, look at this move. This move's sick.
Yeah.
That move is sick. A little wheelbarrow into a DDT. I think I got him here, but dude, a kick out at 1. Are you kidding me? So then look, we tried again. Move. Same result. Just same result. We're not hitting Joe Man.
What the heck? Maybe you should take that off out of his repertoire, because that ain't hitting.
But it's so sick.
But it's not so cool when you flip onto the ground.
I know, but he's supposed to, like, he just did a standing moonsault. Like, Joe Man has got some moves. He just did it again. He's just doing moonsault like it's nobody's. And then I rolled him up. And then I rolled him up. I think I'm gonna get quick, but then he kicked out of 1. This man is just no-selling me.
She took a while to start counting, though. She
was a slow ref. You're so right. She was so slow.
Look at these people just freaking out. Like, instead of watching, they're like, let me jump up and down. Yeah.
They're freaking out. Everyone's getting hyped at the stage. That's where the nonsense, that's where Shenanigans Showdown takes place. At the stage.
That's how I would commentate. Yeah.
Then I think we're gonna get stairs. So I'm excited about the stairs. We're gonna get it, and he's waiting. All right, he's waiting to get him up, trying to.
Why?
You can't taunt because we want to hit him in the face, Sarah.
Well, you're just like standing there though. At least sell that it's heavy or something.
And then boom, he just gets there.
Who's finisher? Uh-oh. Yikes!
T-bone suplex.
Wow.
That was good. And we go back to the stairs. All right, we got to hit him with the stairs.
Stairs scare me now after what Braun Breaker did.
I mean, look at that. He just bust Joe Man open.
Oh.
Joe Man's busted wide open.
Who did Braun Breaker do that to again? Who was that?
Von Wagner.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then, unfortunately, Sarah, this is kind of where the match ends.
Uh-oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Go, Joe.
Whoa. We stand nonsense here.
No, we don't. Squirtle, anyone against nonsense since Squirtle won.
And we throw him in. And I don't know why we're not hitting the finisher here. We got to hit a finisher. But Joe Man reversed it. And then look at this shit. All right.
Yikes.
No, this is where the match ends, right?
Uh-oh. Yikes.
He just throws me around like a goddamn rag doll.
I feel like you pissed him off.
I did. We kind of got it. No.
He's like, I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to mess you up.
And then, all right. So I forget if he hits me. I forget if he whacks me with stairs.
This would be the most awkward thing ever to watch on television.
Yeah, that's why it's not. Yeah, he whacked me with those stairs. That was over. That was tough. That hurt. And then this is his finishing move. He hits me with it. This was tough. Oh no, not this one.
Oh wow.
Standing Spanish fly.
Yikes.
Into a moonsault.
On the stairs.
Keep in mind, he's doing this all in a button down, suit pants, and shoes.
Yeah, and he also just did that landing on the steel steps. What?
And then hits me with like a swinging RKO. And then, this is it. Like, Joe Man won. Joe Man is a double champion.
Shout out Joe.
I was so mad. We got to get our title back. All right. Maybe we start this feud back up at the next pay-per-view. And all right. You have the NWA title. Good job, Joe. All right. You did it. Great job. F you. I was so mad when he won. And then we lost to Squirtle the next week. Like, are we kidding? I gotta find someone in my corner because like Squirtle's got Charmander. Joe Man's got a manager who just didn't show up because he had other shit to do or other people. I don't know. But that's a little too. He had other people to do. People to do. You know, he's a busy man. To find more shit like that, twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network. That's some of the most fun streaming stuff I do. And 2, the new Von Erichs movie. The trailer just released. It's got Zac Efron and the actor from Shameless and the Bear in it. And holy shit, Sarah, if you are a wrestling fan, you need to go see this movie. This trailer got me so hyped.
I don't really know anything about the Von Erichs. I mean, I know who they are.
Obviously, yeah.
But, like, I don't know much about them or their family or, like, what happened. I looked it up and I was like, damn, okay, that's a lot of loss in that family. But I did watch the trailer mostly because of Zac Efron, if we're gonna be honest. And he looks a lot less crazy than he had been when you saw like photos of him and they were like, this is him filming the movie, and you were like, what the is happening? What is that haircut? But no, it looks really well done. And I feel I haven't seen a lot of like wrestling movies. Like I've never seen The Wrestler.
I haven't either,
so I can't compare it. But as for a wrestling movie, I feel like it looks really well done and not like corny. You know what I mean? Where it's like, because some people, if you're not a fan of wrestling, like they don't really know how to present it in a way that is like accurate and respectful and not like making a joke out of it. And obviously this is about a family and all of the loss that they dealt with and whatever. But it looks really good. Like it looks like a movie that I feel like non-wrestling fans would actually enjoy. Like I don't think it's going to be just wrestling fans that go and see it.
Because it's not
it's a story about family.
That's it. Yeah, thank you. It's not a wrestling movie. It's more about the family of the Von Erichs and how they were legitimately the pioneers of wrestling in those days with the AWA and Texas. I mean, the Freebirds. When you have like they had a long-term rivalry with the Fabulous Freebirds, and then on top, I mean, I watched a Dark Side of the Ring on the Von Erichs, which really sucked me in, and the fact there's only one brother left is so sad. I'm gonna see this movie as soon as it comes out. We may even do a podcast episode about it, because I mean, it's just so cool. I was walking back from one of my sales visits, watching that trailer, and I was hyped. Yeah, I was hyped watching this. And then 3, to wrap it up, Next Generation Wrestling fans. So Sarah, you said your nephew is just like huge wrestling. We've talked about his favorites and whatnot here. So I got my nephew now. My brother in ye old Hollywood is getting him involved in it now, and they watch WrestleMania 3 to expose him, because that was my brother's first wrestling thing that he was shown. And I kind of want the peeps here, along with us too, to give some suggestions for what oh shit, I'm gonna be a bad uncle here and forgetting his age.
You said he was 10.
Yeah, he's like 10, 9, 10. Like 4th grade. What would be a good way to get him into, who should he watch? Who should his favorites be? Right now his favorite is Jake the Snake. So, to be honest, if your favorite's Jake the Snake at that age and you watch WrestleMania 3, you got a mind. You got a mind for this. I would like to introduce in a way. I told my brother that, because they asked who's your favorite to me when we were on FaceTime the other day, and I said Kevin Owens. I said Kevin Owens, Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world right now. I don't want to go so far in. I mean, you could obviously do John Cena and the easy ones, but he's a smart kid. Like, he's a very smart kid, and he's very creative. And so I would like to expose him to not just the mainstream people, but those guys that I would say like an upper mid card, like a Ricochet, someone like that, where they're well known, they're wicked popular, and if they were in a title match, you wouldn't think twice, but may not be the top guy, because that's where you learn the most, in my opinion, and really, can really explore your fandom. Bless you. And if anyone has suggestions, please, let me know. Let us know in the comments below, because there's not a lot of wrestling fans in my family. Okay, and not even any really in my inner circle here. So anytime I can expose them to it and do it in the right way. I mean, for instance, I'm not going to be like, Miles, let's watch the Attitude Era. And
what if you showed him some of your favorite matches?
I could.
I feel like that's a good way to kind of like bond with him too, to be like, oh, like I was this old when I saw this match and it's one of my all-time favorites. Like, because then it doesn't have to just be, like you said, it doesn't have to be Hulk Hogan versus The Rock or something, you know,
Yeah.
like it could be just a random match even from this year or something, you know, like, but I feel like that would be kind of cool because, like I said, it's kind of bonding with him from afar. You know,
yeah, that's the thing, and it's tough because he is he's the nephew that's on the other coast, where I have 2 here and 2 in the West Coast, so it is hard. So we'd like to have some sort of connection there. Mr. Anderson, thank you. Be like Mr. Anderson. Ted DiBiase, that'd be a great one. The $1 Million Man. Oh, that'd be a really good
he meant
one.
Ted DiBiase Jr. No, I'm just kidding.
He came from
I come from money. I come from class.
Oh,
the ladies love me for all my cash. Oh my God, I was such a big Ted DiBiase Jr. fan. I went to
such a mark.
I went to multiple DiBiase parties. So I'm not even joking. I know
you're not.
I met Ted DiBiase from posse parties. So.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Well, I told you I was a big fan of Legacy, and so when he did his own thing, I was like, "Oh my God, I love you."
You got to do it.
Mm-hmm. He was very nice.
Oh yeah. Can't see him much anymore, but
no,
whatever.
He's off doing whatever. But
yep. So yeah, let us know in the comments below who you would suggest, because we need to start. I hate the word grooming. I really hate the word.
No, you
grooming.
need to start exposing. Him
Thank you. Let's use other words
all
here.
Facets of wrestling.
AJ Styles.
I feel like, but see, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If you showed him matches, you can say, okay, watch this match, and when you're done, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
See, and then that's a way that you can have a conversation with him. But then it's also cool because, like, he can hear what he thought of it. You can share what you thought of it. And then it's like he's also getting to know you in the process. Like I'm not trying to get all like corny and anything.
No, absolutely.
I feel like that would be cool because you can't just invite him over and just like go in the basement and watch.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is a way to like expose him to people that he might not see normally in matches that he wouldn't see because he wasn't born yet. But it's getting to know you at the same time. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. I can't wait. I can't wait to finally have someone who's a wrestling fan in the family. It's nice. It's nice. Mm-hmm. So yeah, wow. That was a good show. Good show, Sarah. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. Announcement. We're not going to be here on Saturday. The Champ of the Peeps has a golf tournament that I'm going to be a part of. For any fit golf fans, we're doing our own little Ryder Cup with my group of friends versus my buddy's coworkers. So we're all playing in a Ryder Cup, our guys versus them. I'm wicked excited for it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be tuning into wrestling. All right, maybe we miss Collision, but like millions and millions of people are missing it too. It's okay. And in the meantime, go check out the clips. Go check out our stuff in the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know when we go live. And follow us on all social media platforms. We got content coming up the wazoo. And twitch.tv, if you like the nonsense, go over there, twitch.tv/Nonsense Sports Network. We got wrestling. We got my Patriots team, the Militia, which, get this, Sarah, I traded Mac Jones.
Shock. I'm shocked.
I traded Mac, but guess who I got him for? Or got for him, I mean.
Who?
Baker Mayfield. He's better.
Okay.
He's better. Okay. So go check out Baker Mayfield on the Patriots. Isn't that like something that people want to see? Maybe. I don't know. Would you classify as nonsense? Yeah. So go check that out. And that's all we got. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. Yeah.